I'll do the same thing. Hashtag no music, no intro. Saints Block Party podcast, first YouTube live show. Um, this is something that Ryan and I have wanted to do for a while. It's something that we are, as a podcast, as a brand, we want to do more, especially with the off season coming up. So with that said, this is our first YouTube live show. This is a mini show. The goal going forward is to do one of these once a week on top of our regular normal podcast, and the live shows on YouTube. If you miss them, the only way that you can listen to what we said is you have to be a Patreon, because it becomes Patreon only after that point. So with everything that's going on Saints related now, it probably is a good idea for y'all to become either become a Patreon and become a YouTube subscriber. Shout out to our dude Dash, who gave us our first chat saying let's go. And so we're up and running. I know Ryan is working on getting the link out to everyone who's on Twitter. I put the link for our Patreons as well. But I just wanted to be clear going forward. So like next week, if you're not a Patreon, if you're not a YouTube subscriber, we're not going to announce it on Twitter. It is just like you have to be in the know to get it. So thank y'all for bearing with us. Thank y'all for joining us for this live show. And it wouldn't be Saints like if we did not do a live show and have a shit ton to talk about. Like that's just the nature of being a Saints fan. So we have a plethora of talk about, but we're gonna try to keep it as concise as we can, because we only want to keep this like 30 minutes, like a tight 30. We might go a little over. Tight. Oh my god. Before we go into anything, though, want to give much love to our dudes, Dan and Mike. We just finished the Saints Block Party podcast and the Saints City and Me collab podcast episode. It was great. Please check it out. Please listen to it when it gets posted. And it's good stuff. And those are our guys overseas. And so much love for them for having us on. Gotta talk about this team, right?
Got to, bro.
Gotta talk about this fucking team, nigga. Oh my god.
I had to get a sip. I had to get a sip, bro. I know I ain't been drinking, but it's Friday.
Oh, you haven't been drinking, bro. You haven't been drinking.
We talking about these N-words. Because I know it's YouTube Live and you know.
Oh, these naysayers? Yeah, I did
these
that.
Naysayers.
These naysayers. About these naysayers. Let's start with the big thing at hand, and that is everything regarding what's come out the last couple of days regarding Marshon Lattimore. So, but like the 29th of December, which isn't that long ago, like we said like our official like first Saints Block Party podcast report, right? Said it with my whole chest, because it was the truth that the Saints had discussed Marshon Lattimore trades, but a trade did not seem likely. It's very funny how quickly things in the NFL, especially for the Saints, can change. Obviously, the restructure happens. Phil Yates is the first one to report that, and then Nick Underhill of NOF dives into what the actual restructure means and what it meant. And basically, if I can just put it in layman's terms, the restructure for Marshon's contract basically allows him to get paid his full $11 million if he was to be traded to another team. And he gets that guaranteed. And then the Saints, in turn, in the way that they restructured it, gets cap relief or cap space, so then they can use that on whatever it is that it is. Shout out to David, to Dash, to Renee, to Tiffany, to Mark, to Dan, everyone on the chat. We see you guys. Larry Knight, see you. Much love.
What up?
My question is this: how did it get here? That's my question. That's why I want to start. Is how did it get here?
You asking me?
Yeah, I'm asking you.
I mean,
oh, sorry, naysayers. Yeah, naysayer. I'm asking you. How we get here?
I mean, you remember last year when Marshon got injured, and you heard a little something. I ain't gonna say what it was, but it was just like, notable. He wound up coming back from his injury after like 8 weeks, 7 weeks. Had a great game against the Eagles. Finished the season off strong.
Pick six.
Pick six. Went to this season, locked in, started the season great. Eventually a freak injury happened. Somebody rolled up on his leg. And then you just kept hearing whispers. First I heard Brooke on NOF. She was doing like a live stream, and she was like, then there's this stuff with Lattimore and him and DA clashing, and he might not be back this year. And I'm like, ooh, tell me more. Tell me more about that. Nothing. Quiet. She didn't say nothing. Then the next week, she was like, hey, I said a little too much. You know what I'm saying? Like, I said a little too much. She ain't speak on it no more. So I'm just, then you seeing little comments here and there from people kind of in little circles on Twitter and stuff like that. I'm like, okay, something's shaking. Something is brewing. We know something brewing in the locker room. It's happening. There's something brewing. Whether it's, it's Lattimore related, other players, we don't know. We don't know specific details. Something brewing. And then you got your source says, or whatever, you hearing what's going on. He ain't clicking with DA. Why he ain't clicking with DA? Is it because DA's a loser? I don't know.
Yes, naysayer. That's exactly why he's not clicking with DA. Let's not sugarcoat this. I know we on YouTube, but we got to keep it real. Like,
he is a loser. Maybe he wants to see greener pastures. I don't know. From what I understand, he likes playing for the Saints. Wants to play for the Saints. Teammates love him. City loves him. But it's just one person he has a problem with, and that's the head coach of the team, which the front office stand behind 100% like this dude that won 300 games like Bill Belichick.
Acting like DA is Jimmy Johnson in Dallas, bro. Like, what are we doing right now?
Understand.
I can't understand it. And so you know me, and anyone who knows me knows that I do not go to my compadre, my source, my friend, my buddy. I don't chase down things. It's not in my nature, right? I get told things, and then if I can leave a little breadcrumb on the podcast or here and there, I will. The Marshon thing was one of the probably first things in a long time that I sought out my source, and I was like, clarification, can I get some insight onto this? And it is crazy in like a span of 5 days how much shit has changed. 5 days, right? Of how quickly it changed. And you're talking about this, and all I can think about, all I go back to is right before the season started, not this season, but the season last year, leading up right into the regular season, week one. Leading into week one, what happens? Out of nowhere, the City Deuce trade happened. Out of nowhere. And quickly after the trade happened, then there was a story, and it was like, why it happened, and blah, blah, blah. At this point, as an organization, can y'all change the script? Can y'all change because it is almost identical of what is happening. Is that you have a good, talented player saying, this man as head coach ain't it. He is not it. Keep in mind, these are players who were previously coached by Sean Payton, who was a Hall of Fame head coach. It don't matter if you in football or in life, bro. If you go from some good and you go some not good, you're gonna be like, nah, this ain't it for me. I gotta get that good stuff. I'm not gonna downgrade my life. Players in the NFL are no different. So if you went from someone who challenged you, who pushed you to be the best version of yourself that you can be as a player, to go to someone who there was a player injured last season for the Saints. And I don't want to say who the player was because I don't want to mix signals of who I think it was, or maybe I'm confusing the player. But I'm going to say like a high profile player and came from who played at Ohio State, right? Player was injured. DA had a problem of how like the optics looked that this player wasn't at the facility and blah, 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 and wanted the player to be around the facility to, give the public perception of like, he's rehabbing with the team, blah, blah. Didn't know the player's phone number. Let me say that again. Let me say that again because this live show we going hard. We preaching right now. Did not know the player's phone number of a leader on the team. You telling me that this man couldn't hit up Greg Benzel, who handles all communication with the Saints, and say, hey, Greg, can you let me know who the player? First of all, you the head coach. Why don't you have the phone number for the captains and the elite players on your football team? Hello? But I want people to understand. I know there was some division in our Discord in our community as this season unfolded, right? I understand the perspective that for the people who were just very, very cynical, just super cynical, because I think the reason, or I know the reason why they were so cynical was for shit exactly like this, right? Because it goes to, and I've said on the podcast, we've talked about it, DA as head coach, it goes beyond coaching acumen. It goes beyond what happens on the field. Like, he's involved in personnel decisions. He's involved in draft decisions, free agency, all of that. In 2 seasons, he's going to trade away CD Deuce, who was healthy in a top 3 sock corner in the league, and he's going to trade more than likely trade away Marshon Lattimore, who's the top 3, top 5 cornerback in the league when he's healthy. For what? And I know we bag on DA a lot, but we gotta steer our aim. We gotta change the crosshairs. Because we got to talk to Mickey Loomis about this shit.
Mickey Loomis, man. That's what I'm talking about.
Come on now.
Because it comes down to him. The buck stops with him. Really stops with Gail, but football operations, it stops with him. He need to tell he would, like if I were him, I'd say, well, look, figure it out.
Figure it out.
You and Marshon not getting along. You're not the first boss to not getting along with your employee. But if your employee is valuable, you figure it out. Work it out. You got a whole off season to figure it out. You know what I'm saying? But all this stuff, and they already making contract changes, so they basically sent a smoke signal out saying, yeah,
he's available. Come get him.
Come call me.
Well, here I said on our podcast that the I don't know if the phone calls have been had, but the internal discussion about trading him had already taken place within the last couple of weeks, right? So to your point, that little contract adjustment is a smoke signal to the rest of the NFL saying, we might be listening. We might be listening.
Yeah, exactly. Because it can't happen until after June 1st. So they can't move him. It won't be nothing for this draft.
Say it again, Ryan. Say it again.
It won't happen until after June 1st. So it won't be nothing for this draft. It'll likely be something, it could be involving another player. It could be involving a draft pick in 2025. 2025. You don't even know if D's gonna be the head coach in 2025, bro. And you done got rid of a blue chip caliber player who's still in his 20s to appease this head coach. And explain this is what it always comes down to me. How does this make you better? How does this make you a better team? You can't tell me it's the money because you already paid them.
You already paid them. And you're gonna have to pay them in 2025. We see the questions in the chat. We're gonna get to them. I made the point when we were on Dan and Mike's podcast in that you're already a team that has holes. You already have holes. You got holes on offensive line. You got holes. You have a plethora of holes already on an older team. Your solution when you have holes is to create another hole? I can't. People in the chat saying we got to get the hashtag hire someone, hashtag hire anyone. No, bro.
Somebody.
Can we get Adam Gase in this bitch? Like, oh, sorry, can't cuss on Adam Gase, Ryan. Like this is how dire things are right now that I'm asking as a fan, can we get Adam Gase? I know if we got Adam Gase, I know at least maybe Alvin AK would look good. I'm just saying.
Hey, people probably laughing, but Adam Gase got a better win percentage than DA.
took his team to the playoffs. Our dude Dan says, can we talk about how the team mismanaged Trey Hendrickson, Caden Ellis, and Zach Bond, and Marcus Williams?
Ooh.
Mitch, our dude Mitch said he'd take Wade Phillips. Absolutely, you would take Wade Phillips.
Oh, yeah.
Easily. The team has obviously mismanaged all of those, right? They mismanaged Trey Hendrickson. From what I know, because of COVID, there was no chance in hell that Trey was going to come back, especially after the season that he had, right? I get Trey even being better for the Bengals than he was for the Saints, like hurts, but like it was not in the cards because it was a flat cap and the way that they make their money, and it just was not feasible to bring Trey back. But I think their biggest, can we quick time out? Trey Hendrickson is like second in the league with sacks right now. Naysayer, he got 17 and a half sacks. Bro, what are we? He almost got 20 sacks, Ryan.
About to break the record, bro. About to break that record.
Come. Anyway, I also think it's weird that like the things that the Saints were like saying bad about Trey and during his free agency, like it's just like why? Anyway,
try hard player.
I'm not try hard player. Why is that coming out? No, you know what? The biggest thing after that was the reason that they basically it was between Trey and it was between Marcus, right? And because of the flat cap, they couldn't pay Trey. So Marcus gets the franchise tag, and then the following season, when he's a free agent, he wants an extra $1 million. So we're just gonna let him go to the Ravens, who look like the best team in football right now. We're gonna bring in Marcus May, who's been hurt, has a DUI, he's not even fully healthy. Speaking of this, we talking about Marcus May, we talking about Trey Hendrickson, we talking about Marshon, all in a span of almost 20 minutes. We're talking about a 2017 draft class that completely transformed the New Orleans Saints from top to bottom. Not even, which is even crazy because they didn't even get the player that they wanted in the first round. It's completely different draft class if it's Patrick Mahomes, but we're not gonna get into that. Just on his, you got Marshon, Ryan Ramczyk. Second round was Marcus Williams. You had AK. You had Trey Hendrickson. Who else am I forgetting? Akadim Muhammad, and I'm probably forgetting someone else off the top of my head. Alexander Zeloni, who is also a starter for a playoff team right now for the Lions. No, you telling me that after maybe Marshon gets traded and maybe Ram retires this offseason, that there's one person from that draft class, if AK is still on the team, that's still like that is a cardinal sin. The worst thing that you can do is draft not good players, not great players, draft elite players and not retain them. That is a cardinal sin to do as any sporting organization. And they've done it for multiple players from that draft class.
On top of that, not replace them. Come
on now.
Not have a replacement plan. You know, they get ego and hubris, bro. Always come back to it. That 2017 draft had them feeling themselves. Oh yeah, we can. Like,
we could trade a future first round pick and draft this edge pass rusher and Marcus Davenport because we good like that. We the New Orleans Saints. Right. You see what we just did?
And you know, I saw some people say that like you know, DA is similar to Sean Payton in a sense from a secondary standpoint. He feels like he could create secondary players the way Sean Payton felt like he could create weapons in the offense.
It is not the same, man.
Not the same, man.
It's not, man. I get it. I get it. Like I understand it, but it's not the same. It is not the same at all.
On top of that, it's like, why are you giving a losing head coach this type of power right now? Like, why? That's what I don't understand. Like, you got to show and prove to me before I had you power over the 53-man roster. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got power over the 56, who starts on Sunday, stuff like that. But when it comes to the roster, that's front office. Of course, you got input. And of course, we listen to all that. But just because a player, you have a gripe with a player, like, no, come on, man. That's y'all got to figure that out.
But here's the thing with the Saints, with the Saints particularly, and this has been told to me time and time again, even probably more so than like other teams, which is weird, is that they are so focused on public perception and like what the public thinks about them. Why do you think they watch us so much? Because we're speaking as two fans, but we're speaking as two fans that got 14,000 people who maybe echo the same type of thought process. So if that's what the focus is, they don't want to look like they're weak. Like, oh, well, we have a star player and we think that Dennis Allen is the right guy for the job. So if they're butting heads, then we're going to side with our head coach. Why? That's like, ooh, I'm not going to be able to make it to the Senior Bowl this year, but if I did and I got a chance to ask Mickey a question, my question with him would be, why are you siding with a head coach that if you double his wins in the NFL, it still is not 500 over someone who was an all-pro in the league? Somebody got to answer. Somebody got to tell it to me because I got to understand it.
Next question. I mean, it's ridiculous, man. It's ridiculous. And here's the thing that I don't get. It's like, what is the overall plan? Like, people say, oh, y'all don't want to trade players. You always get. No, it's not that. Like, I'm fine with trading valuable players if there's a plan. You know what I'm saying? Don't do it just to do it. Don't trade a player just to, we trade, we get a second round pick back, and we'll figure it out when we get there. Like, what are you gaining there? Like, what is the point?
So, like, can I give you what the thought process was when trading CD? So that we could trade CD because we got Bradley Roby. We're just gonna put him in the slot. That was the plan. That legitimately was the plan. Because Bradley Roby had an outstanding training camp. Jokes on the Saints. Players can look good in training camp and not look great when actual bullets start flying. Sorry, I hate using that.
How many times have we seen that? How many times y'all come on now?
So, and here's the second part of that, right? We're talking about not having a plan. Do we trust this team with draft picks at all at this point? I don't. Like, I'm more surprised when a player is playing well when they get drafted than if they don't. Kendre Miller's playing what? Kendre Miller's playing what? His second game this season out of a 17-game season. Isaiah Foskey, I don't even know if that man exists. It's funny because when I go and I update our Instagram and whatever and put some content out, and I shouldn't bag on him, but it's funny to me. Like, everything, all his stories are when he posts on Instagram is like him like posting the Saints story because this nigga don't got nothing to show on his story, Ryan. Like,
nothing to talk about.
Saints win. Just may put that to my story because I haven't played a game yet. We're not even talking about Trevor Penning, who they mismanaged that entire trait with the Eagles, who is not playing football. No one can still tell me why this man is not even on the field to trying to get some snaps somewhere. But y'all want a fan base to have faith in an organization.
No.
You're beyond that, bro.
And here's the thing. You don't have to have faith in an organization to be a Saints fan. You know what I'm saying? Like you don't have to have the faith in Loomis and the current operation or the coaching. That doesn't make you less of a Saints fan if you don't have faith in them. You know.
No,
Matter of fact, it
it's
makes you
realistic.
a real Saints fan. It's just being realistic.
It's realistic,
You know?
bro. Let me get to the chat real quick.
Yeah, what they saying? What they saying in the chat?
Our dude Dan said, I'm gonna first question he asks is, do we need a true GM that makes their own decisions rather than just do what the head coach wants?
Yeah.
Yes. But but the Saints are a mom and pop shop, and that is it's just not how they're gonna operate. He had
here's the funny thing to me. I like Jeff Ireland. I could see him leaving, going to Denver. A lot of smoke about George Patton getting fired, Peyton, whatever his name is. You know, Loomis. You know, Sean gonna hit that text. Hey, big head,
you up?
Come, you up? Ireland out. You know who they gonna bring in? You know.
I don't think it's gonna be Ryan Pace, bro. I don't think so. I think he's going to take over for Terry's position in Atlanta, bro. I think he's been plotting this. It's been like a little finger, like he just waiting his time, bro, just in the shadows. Like, this naysayer about to fall on his face. Just wait till this naysayer fail. Ooh, Kyle Pitts not working out. Ooh, you just watch. You watch. I'm not a betting person, but if I was, I would bet a small portion of money that Ryan Pace will be the next GM of the Falcons.
Can you imagine Ryan Pace coming back here, bro? Oh my god!
Even scarier. Could you imagine Ryan Pace becoming the GM of the Falcons and actually like getting like the quarterback pick right for them in first round? Like that's even worse. That's worse. Our dude Dan asked, "What is Sean's true trade value for a serious team?" I mean, I think if I'm a serious team, if I'm a Detroit, like the teams that come to mind that when I think of like a Marshon trade, I think Detroit, I think San Francisco, maybe the Eagles. Yeah.
But be careful. Be careful what they call.
To me, a low first round pick from like 27 to 32, and then potentially like, I mean, a third or fourth would be a like true trade value for a team that values him, because one, he's already paid, right? So you don't have to like repay him. And two, if that's like position on your team or on your defense that like you've thrown like resources at and you just haven't been able to get right and blah, blah, and you know you have someone that you can go out and get that just solidifies that position, like Detroit makes a lot of sense, especially if Aaron Glenn remains to be there because he's worked with Marshon. He was the secondary coach. Dan Campbell ain't gonna have no issues with Marshon. Like, so it would not surprise me at all if a team like Detroit or San Francisco were to offer a low first round pick. But the thing is that I don't trust the negotiator in these situations. Don't trust him. This is not Samuel L. Jackson, or I guess Kevin Spacey. Ew. But this is not that type of situation. I don't trust him.
It's a great movie though, man.
It is, bro. It's a great movie.
But nah, bro. Like I would like, bro. Like, what did Jalen Ramsey get when he got traded from the Rams?
2 firsts, bro.
2 firsts, and he was what? He was like what 26, 27 at the time.
But I would say the difference.
I would start there. I'm not saying I would get there, but I would start there. I would start there and work my way back. Because you're talking about top 5 corner who who plays like who locks down his side of the field. Like that is so valuable in the NFL. Valuable. Teams spend so much money and time trying to find good cornerbacks. Like that's nothing you give away. Yes, he had 2 back-to-back years where he was, on a long-term injury. So, you can work your way back. Maybe not 2 firsts, maybe a first and a future second or something like that, or a first, 2 thirds, something like that. A first, a third, and a player. It has to be worthwhile. Don't give him away. Like, you make it worthwhile. What is this thing where we just give players away? We are always on the worst side of trades, bro. Always on the worst side, bro.
Always.
You know, nobody's ever thinking, like, man, Saints made it like thieves with that one. No, never. Like, you never think that. Like, I guarantee it's gonna be, if we get a first round pick for it, we're gonna be sending them like a second or a third. It's gonna be some shit like that. We gotta send a pick. Some reason we gotta send a pick. Like just tell them no, Loomis. Say no. We're not sending the pick. If you want the player, but because they're siding with DA, they're gonna feel like they have to get rid of him.
Yep.
You know,
just similarly to CD Deuce, where
CD Deuce just gave him away.
How do you not survey the landscape? How do you take the first offer that's offered to you as an organization? Like, it's kind of very similar to like you said, to the Trevor Penning situation, because at that point it's just spite. Like, it's personal. Right. You're not doing something to improve the team. You're not doing something for like a long-term vision that's going to be good and best for the team. You're just doing it because you're spiteful. Like, and if you're an organization, if you're executives and management organization, you can't you have to separate emotion from business.
Exactly.
Couple of questions in the chat. So our guy Brute Saint said, just because you don't have faith in the team doesn't mean you have no passion for them. I still get pissed when they lose. You think a fake fan feels that way? No, because I can just hop on the Niners background. No one is saying that. Like,
yeah.
No one's saying, like, you absolutely. I will say this though. I'll say this, and me and Ryan have been preaching this for almost 4 years. And I get some people can't do it, and I understand why.
It's hard.
The best thing that I've done, and in a weird way, it was because of the no call, is that I have emotionally disconnected myself from the team. I just, when they lose, and I don't let it have a bearing on me. I don't let it, like, when they lose, they lose. When they win, I'm happy, whatever. Like, that's why, like, they're making all these little the mistakes they made in free agency with CD Deuce and probably with Marshon. If this was old Adam, if this was old Ryan, but we'd be pissed, we'd be stewing, we'd be up in arms.
I'd be tweeting right now.
Now? Okay. Like, it's for our mental health. It's
exactly
for my sanity. So we don't carry it with us. Renee said Eagles going to take Sean and give us okay. Doug Funky kick in return. Wayne asks, who's likely to be our Saints killer this Sunday, since you mentioned Kyle Pitts? Like, is the obvious answer like Bashan? I was a little surprised. I mean, he wasn't a killer per se, but Drake London did have like a very quiet but like nice little game in the first matchup. But if I'm just going Saints killer, I'm going Caden Ellis. Like, Caden Ellis gonna probably get like an interception and a sack this game.
In a sack, light their car.
Rizzy is from the Damble School. Would you be surprised if he makes a lateral move away? I would, honestly, and I'm trying to be, I don't know, tactful is the right word. There's not a lot of people, whether it's players or people who are actually like staff in other places in the NFL, maybe even on the Saints staff, that actually like working with Dennis Allen. So like that goes back to our question. Like Ryan's question is like, what is it about Dennis Allen? Like, did this man got an Epstein list? Does someone know? Does he know something about somebody?
He got the most Dias' emails, bro. I'm something, bro.
Oh, bro, I need to know why.
What's going on?
But I think as fans, right? There's been so much that's happened this season with the lack of accountability, just pumping off the chest after beating the Giants. Mickey Loomis is the WWO head about not thinking about the future, saying that us Saints fans are broke, and that's why. It has nothing to do with that. It's about the product on the field. Period. Because here's the thing. We've, as Saints fans, have seen what good football looks like. And I'm not trying to say that Sean Payton was a saint, nor that, no pun intended, or that he was like a great person, but Sean built a program. Sean built a program where the Saints were relevant, were mostly contending a lot of the times. And even in the seasons that were 7-9, that were not that good, at least they were fun and entertaining. We didn't have a defense, but we had an offense. This Saints team and this current iteration of it, besides maybe some explosive Taysom games here and there, it has nothing to hang its hat on. Like nothing.
And here's the thing. DA and Loomis are still profiting from the culture Sean Payton built.
Absolutely.
It's why they come out hard versus the Bucs last week and come out hard versus the Giants and able to kind of keep things together and fight hard and chop wood and all that stuff because of the type of character guys they were able to build. Yep. But that's dwindling away. You trading that away with Marshon Lattimore. You got rid of that with C.D. Deuce. You got rid of that with Marcus Williams. Ramczyk, we don't know. He might be out of there soon. All these players. So these young players coming up, they're not going to have that same institutional mindset that, these former players came up with. And you starting to see the culture that DA is creating. Which was funny. It's ironic because he was hired because we're going to maintain the culture. He's destroying the culture. He's destroying it.
Come on. And so it gets back to when people always talk about the conversation about like serial killers, right? I know this is completely got to turn, but one of the things that come up is nurture versus nature, right? Mm-hmm. So now you draft them young players, and so let's say they give DA a season and a half. Now he has a season and a half to put his hand on these young players. Can we talk about that? That Alante tweet is a perfect example of that, is it not?
Perfect, bro.
So now you are drafting young players and you're allowing someone who does not have a winning pedigree at all as a head coach, put his hands on players' paws and cultivate them and instill in their heads what he feels what a winning culture is. How are you going to talk to a player about winning culture is when you've never been a head coach that's had a winning culture? Hello? Can I get an amen from the chat? Because we taking people to church today. So that in and of itself is putting, like, can we just put a bubble around Brian Receiver and A.T. Perry? I don't want them to hear everything DAs say to them. Just block it out. Don't listen to it. Just go play. Just go play. It's starting from the inside, right? Like I know it gets like people don't love it as a movie, but Age of Ultron, the second Avengers movie, when Ultron told Wanda, like, you can tear them apart from the inside, that is what DA has been doing since the moment he has been hired. Tearing the Saints apart.
People don't like Age of Ultron?
It gets some hate, bro. It gets some hate. I never understood it. I never understood.
I mean, no, it's not up there with the first Avengers or the,
not,
but it's still a great movie.
I enjoy it, but I mean, we can say that for the MCU.
Well, when Wanda come out that little shack after that little.
When you go out there, you're an Avenger.
Man,
chills, bro. Chills. Anyway, all right.
Come on.
I got you, Dad. I got you. I see it. So we're gonna wrap this up. We try to keep it like I said, like a tight 30.
We're testing this out. We're trying to.
We got what? I think we got 40 people in here.
What?
78 views total. Yeah.
I love y'all, man. Love y'all.
So we'll wrap it up. But that to us, we wanted to do this. We wanted to just get out and talk about the whole Marshon situation and things where things are, and we'll get better in terms of like answering better questions, keeping track of the chat. Hopefully we can figure out a way that Ryan can actually see the chat as well. Instead of being Mr. Magoo. But that is in and of itself is just kind of where we are as fans, right? Because then, right, they're not going to fire a DA this offseason. So then you are now losing out on a head coach hiring cycle where you maybe could have gotten a great head coach, right? So you're losing out on this opportunity. So then you got to wait potentially till next year, maybe, we don't know. And it just feels very bleak right now because we're talking about Marshon. We're not even talking about more likely this is Michael Thomas's last season in the Saints. We're not talking about, AK, like is AK gonna want it out when he sees that there's nothing, being around him that's productive. Like they are about to lose pillars of the team. I was told that the way that Marshon feels about DA, that he's not the only player on the team that feels that way about DA. There's only, bro. So again, I can't understand. It doesn't make sense to me. What is this like nepotism? Like, oh, he's our guy. Like, we raised him from a pup, and like, who cares? Sometimes if you're a parent and you just raise your kid the right way and perfectly, and they go off to college and they fail, that's life, right? You're not guaranteed to be successful. And DA as a head coach, and I know that, bro, if they go out and win on Sunday against the Falcons, is that what, 10 wins for him in a season?
9.
It'd be 10 wins. It would be 9? No, was it 9?
It'd be 9 and 8.
Would it be? Okay, you're right. It'd be 9. Like that's his first winning record, bro.
He don't understand, bro. He don't get it. He like, why y'all mad? I'm out here winning. Like, what are y'all mad for? I was winning 4 games with the Raiders, 3 full games.
Now winning double plus 1.
What y'all mad for?
Why y'all mad at me?
That's why I'm not even mad, bro. That's why I'm not even mad at DA no more. Because he just like, I don't understand the issue. I don't get it. Like, I'm out here, it's hard to win games, as he said. Got to be better at hard.
That with the blue pill? Like, you know what I'm saying? You got to be better than that. Yeah, when you got that, you get that first bust out, but it's still like, is that what he mean? I don't know, Ryan. I'm just asking questions.
That second wave, boy.
That second. Here's the thing, though, that I will say, we asked this on the preview pod for the Falcons, and shout out to all of our listeners who researched this stat, because I was just curious of like how many times in 2 seasons has an opposing team scored a touchdown first, a 0-0 game. The opposing team scored a touchdown first, and the Saints actually came back and win. It was 3-8 or 3-7. One of those. 3-8. That to me is so insanely indicative. Like, how can you be in modern day football when an opposing offense scores a touchdown first? Or maybe not even a touchdown, right? I said touchdown. I maybe should have left it like ambiguous, like a pick 6 or whatever, right? Any touchdown. In what, 11 games, you won 3 of those? I don't know. Justin says, what happens if the Falcons blow out the Saints this Sunday? Thoughts? I wish I could.
Gail.
Yeah.
That'll be on Gail. She'll feel that heat, though.
Because it's 85-90% sure that we've been told and hearing that DA is back. If they go out and if it's like, I don't know, man, like they get 40 put on them or just something just like embarrassing. I don't know if it will be enough, but I think the conversations would at least be happening at the very least.
Yeah. The seeds will be laid.
Ryan McGee said, Teron already said a few weeks ago, the staff is lacking a motivator. That's why they start slow and have to get the ass kicked in the first half before they turn it up in the second half.
And the man just telling you. He's telling you.
He's told you, AK told you that they didn't have no identity as an offense, that they don't play matchup football. No. How many? These are.
They're telling you the problem. Like they're telling you. They're telling you the issue without saying like DA sucks. They're not saying that. They can't say that. But they are trying to send a message, bro.
Like SOS, Ryan. Like, help me. And we might, but all that said, right? At first I was thinking like, man, like we created this podcast. It's been going on for almost 4 years. And like in the time we created it, like this may be like the worst version of the Saints that's ever like close to or like in the same vicinity, like some like the all-time shitty Saints team. Shout out, I see you T Dirty 00. And I was thinking, like, man, like this is not good for the hashtag brand. Like, this is like we want the Saints to be, but maybe like we created this pod, like maybe it's God's way of saying, like, no, like y'all created this podcast for a reason because it was going to be needed in times like these.
Maybe so, bro. BetterHelp.com.
they're not our sponsor anymore, so that's not.
No, but 8. We got a couple more days.
Oh, that's right. We got 3 days. So yeah, I'm lying. Just kidding. Just
BetterHelp.com/that.
Ryan McGee says Gail is getting the wool pulled over her head by Loomis and thinks we are on track moving in the right direction.
Probably so. I don't know.
I don't know if it's that. I just don't think for it. I've got to be careful how I say things. I'll say this. There was a point this season where there was unhappiness of how things were going. I'm not gonna say who was unhappy, but if you use context clues, you can probably figure out who it was. Where that person's unhappiness is right now and what it will be when the season's over, I don't know. But from everything that I know, that person of where they are standing in terms of their unhappiness will dictate what happens with the future of Dennis Allen. That's all I'll say. Okay. Figure it out. We're all smart people. Figure it out. I will say that the fact that person was at some point unhappy this season is very telling. And I think that matters. Now, does that raise to the level of that unhappiness acting on something? I don't know, because it all gets murky because it's like, oh, they beat the Bucks and it was on the road and Derek Carr looked good. And so like, look, it's all flowery. I don't know. I'm not that person to ask, but that's all. I
want to ask you a quick question. Do you buy the notion that Derek Carr is finally healthy? Because he's been beat up all season. And the reason he's playing better is because he's healthy. Because he is playing better.
He is. That's a good question because I've never really thought about it.
I don't know. I don't know what to think.
I mean, I'd also would say too, like he is playing better because they're playing in a way that he is better utilized, like in play action and things like that. Mm-hmm. So I think maybe, but also I'll leave it as maybe. But then I go back to week 1 and I know he the offensive line was obviously not great then, but we're like he still made that dumb Derek Carr decision in that game on that interception. So I don't know, but is there something that may be to it? It could be, but also I saw him against the Rams and I was there in person and that was not that long ago. And he did like I know you said it was a fine Derek Carr game. It may have looked fine when y'all was watching, being like up and above and so I don't know, but Zach says he may be healthier, but he still can't read a defense all the time. That is very true.
No, that's true.
Healthy as an ox, can't read a cover 2, cover 3, none of it, bro.
I ain't say he was great. I'd say he's better. I don't know. Maybe. I don't know.
Maybe. We got up to 87 total views, 41 concurrent.
Yeah. Come on now. And we ain't scheduled this or nothing.
It was just off the top. So thank y'all so much. If you missed the whole thing, we will post it as a Patreon only episode. It's only going to be a Patreon only episode. We love y'all. Appreciate y'all. We hope to see y'all guys in the Zoom for the last game of the regular season. If something happens crazy and they make the playoffs, then we got y'all guys covered. But truly, thank y'all. We appreciate y'all. It's all love. We love the support. We love y'all. With that, we're out.
Peace. Boom, 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 ba-dum, boom, boom, ba-dum, ba-dum. All right, bro.